Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, and business to rapid lifestyle transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to you a bit later than we usually do for our video of the day. Of course, we always put out a long form video every single day on this channel. I was late and I'm putting this video the day of, and then following will be the video for today actually. So last night's video is coming today, and then today's video is coming today later also. So the one that's carrying on into tomorrow. And part of the reason, and I'm going to have to do it early because I am booked, ladies and gentlemen, for events and for functions. And part of the reason for that is because I have not had the focus to be able to say no to people that I care about in order for myself to be able to focus upon priorities. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Priorities, the Pareto principle, a little bit going into the game here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about that and more. But first of all, I'd like to invite you, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button below. You'll be joining a community of master manifestors. You'll be getting alerts when I release all of our videos on this channel, be that long form videos or shorts, and you'll be helping us get the word out, playing our small part in this global awakening of merging the spiritual and the physical, of reaching out of this materialistic worldly mindset, going into a spiritual mindset, and being able to apply that for massive success in the physical. So I will give you a moment to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to talk about getting back into the nitty-gritty of rapid lifestyle transformation, where we're going to be moving here in the next week and weeks ahead. By the way, I have several big announcements, I repeat, big announcements coming for the channel, for our platform, for our community as a whole, so you don't want to miss that in the coming days and weeks. And going into the game, ladies and gentlemen, because you see, despite what you might expect from the past few days of going into the basics of law of assumption, going into the basics of mysticism, going deeply into it, and really showing how this world is an illusion, this channel is not about having you being totally detached from reality. It's not about having you become a somnambulist. It's not about solipsism. It's not about denying reality. No, this channel goes in accordance with what William James said in pragmatism, and that is the test of the veracity of philosophy is, does it work in my life? And all of these principles are not meant simply to be theoretically speculated upon, but they're meant to be applied in your life to pack a power punch in your massive success. For indeed, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we came. But in order to have success in any game, and this is a game, in any sport, and this is a contact sport, ladies and gentlemen, rapid lifestyle transformation is a contact sport. You have to be able to go beyond that and see the bigger picture outside of that. See the fact that you are in a prison grid of your own making. It is all made up. And there are these aspects that deceive us from what we truly are. But then going back into that and playing that game, as Eastern philosophy would say, cooking your seeds. We all have to cook our seeds, so to speak, while we're here. We all need to do what we came for. And of course, that's not a moral imperative. That is simply something that we want to do. So, know this well. Getting into the game, look at athletes, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest athletes, the Olympic athletes. And we did post links with the great Mike Popovich when he was interviewing some Olympic athletes, and they all know these materials, they know these principles, they know about imagining, they know about focus, they know about mental rehearsal. In fact, Olympic athletes are put into rooms by their coaches while music is playing, and they're visualizing their plays over and over again. But it translates into goals won, it translates into home runs achieved, and it translates into the game being won. And that's what we want to do here. We want to get you across the finish line. So a few principles within the game. Okay, we know that the game is something that's agreed upon by conventions. We made it up. We make the rules up. And by the way, we can get out of one game and go to another. We can get into the game that we want to. And that's a very important principle right there. First of all, choosing the game that you're going to play, choosing the battlefield upon which you're going to fight. In order to do that, you have to know how to prioritize. Why do we have to prioritize? If we're unlimited beings, and we are all one with the divine, because indeed, as we know from our scale of being, there's no separation. The divine, again, came into the physical, set itself up as an observer and an observed in order to play that game, and then went to sleep, so to speak. Sophia went to sleep, as the Gnostic mythology tells us, in order to wake back up again to her true nature and her true essence. But while we're here, we've agreed upon this game, we've come into this game, and we want to win the game. So why would we need to prioritize? Well, for the simple fact that while we're in a physical time-space reality, which is of course contrived and made up, but we have to have that in order to experience multiplicity, in order to experience the game, in that we have to prioritize, because you can only focus upon one thing, ladies and gentlemen, at one time. And when we are in that game, in that Maya, so to speak, then all the rules of that Maya and all the rules of law of attraction begin to apply. And that is what you focus on, what has your attention, manifests in your life. And of course, like whatever is like unto itself is drawn. So you have to focus and prioritize on what you want, because otherwise, as Charles Haanel said in the Master Key System, your energies will be dissipated. And if you focus on one thing today and another thing tomorrow, then of course it logically holds up that you won't create anything. We came to be master creators. So we have to prioritize. How do we do that? Well, the first step is what we talk about a lot in this channel. It's journaling. And if you want, we have had other videos in the past where we talked about this, you can get into maniacal focus. You can take a 3-day period, whether it's taking off from work or whether it's just taking a little bit of time during those days, so to speak, and you can journal about what you want, and you can get to a focused picture of what it is you want. And that's what you're going to focus on. Now, the reason why a lot of people don't do this, ironically, is because of a shortage mentality. So they want to do a certain thing that they love. Let's say they want to sing. They want to become a singer. But they say, well, I cannot focus the majority or 90% of my attention upon singing, because then all of the other things that I need to do in my life won't get taken care of, like a job, like taking care of my children, and so on and so forth. This is where a knowledge of the spiritual principles and a knowledge that you're outside of the game and therefore make up the rules of the game and can get into any game that you want come in to their own. So then when you start having that thought while journaling, when you start thinking, oh, I can't focus upon this, just tell yourself, everything else is going to be taken care of. Why? Because I create my reality. Because it's all spiritual, because it's all manifested, therefore I can place onto autopilot whatever I want. And you see, there are certain things that you don't want to play the game of. The majority of us don't want to play the game of hunting and scrounging for our rent. The majority of us don't want to play the game or fight on the battlefield of trying to raise good children and so on and so forth. These are things that we just want to be taken care of with the least amount of attention required from us as possible. I hope you understand me just a little bit. So you can put all of those other things on autopilot. And ironically, Abraham Hicks, the great spiritual teacher, teaches us how to do this. She said, if you have 7 things in your life, and 6 of them aren't working, but one of them is working beautifully, focus on the one that's working, and the 7 will then have to line up with that vibration, because it doesn't matter what you're vibrating well on in the law of attraction. As long as you're vibrating well, you will attract like through that. So therefore, if you just focus on what you want to focus on, and you play the game that you want to play, then everything else that you don't really want to play that game on, but would rather just see taken care of, I promise you will be taken care of. It's the way that this system works. But now you want to be able to focus on that one thing that you want to have massive success on, that you want to have your hands in the clay in. And then how to focus on that. That's where the Pareto principle comes in. Now you start in your journaling dividing that topic up into certain aspects. And then you look at all of the different aspects of it, and you choose from the Stoic dichotomy, from the dichotomy of Epictetus, and that is things I have control over and things I don't have control over. And you only focus on, in the beginning, those things that you have complete control over. Now, there may be some things that you don't have complete control over. You divide those things up more, and you take the portions of that that you can act on, that you do have control over, and you act upon them. And you leave the things that you don't have control on over, so to speak, for the law of attraction to get those done. I hope you understand me just a little bit. And the great businessman, the great billionaire, Boris Berezovsky, in his book, How to Earn a Fortune, indicates the way to do this. He said, first of all, you choose that goal or that focus, or what Trevor Blake calls intention, and then you ask yourself, what bets can I take on it? What are the small actions today that I can take to get momentum started? Remember, in this modality, it's not action that's going to win us the game. It's not action that's going to get us there. The action is simply for silencing that left brain, silencing that monkey mind, and then once that silence, allowing the right brain to work its magic. And the right brain is going to attract all of the circumstances for you to get those things done. And everything's going to fall into place. So all you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is focus. All you need to do is prioritize. And remember, when you prioritize, as the great Eliyahu Goldratt, the founder of Theories of Constraint, said, you have to know what to pay attention to and what not to pay attention to. Sometimes that's going to mean not doing things that are not important to you in this film role, so to speak. Now, there are other aspects to consider, like relationships, like building business relationships, like not damaging personal relationships. And it goes back into my situation where I was invited to functions that I'm not really a party person or someone that likes to go to functions, but I didn't want to upset people close to me. But I should have put limits on that and put a very strict time frame and perhaps not gone to one. But I'm booked for one tonight. I was booked for one last night, and I didn't have time to work on maybe some things that I could have worked on this weekend. So remember, prioritize, use the Pareto principle. What's the 20% of effort that's going to get me 80% of the results? Take those pieces, as Epictetus said, those pieces that you have complete control on, take action on one of those today. Then when you take action on those, more things are going to start moving forward in that project. Serendipities are going to start coming towards you, and you're going to start seeing that project unfold before you. Remember the mental focus and the imagination component, which is probably the most important action piece. That is, imagine your wild success. Imagine what it's going to look like, what's it going to feel like when you achieve the end desire that you've aimed at, your priority, and rehearse that until it feels natural to you, until, as Neville Goddard said, you get the feeling of relief. Then simply take inspired action on those pieces that you can take action on, that you feel inclined in taking action in. And ladies and gentlemen, forget the rest. Prioritize. Do what's important. Do what's right in front of you. Focus on it until you attain it. And that's the approach that we're going to be taking in these videos here in the next few days and weeks to get you free from the prison grid, free from a job and a boss, so that you'll have more free energy so that you can create masterpieces, ladies and gentlemen. Hope this video is helpful. If you find value in our materials, please subscribe and like to the channel. Hit the subscribe button below. I'm also doing coaching calls, ladies and gentlemen, where I will take you step by step through this modality, and you will achieve more in weeks than some people achieve in years. It's the power of focus, ladies and gentlemen. It's the power of the Pareto Principle. And I'm Javier from The Real Javier Novoa, and I will see you very soon.